Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam and welcome back to Stephen King Month. I have already covered all three flavors of It. If you'd like to check those out, the playlist link will be in the right hand corner. But for right now, let's leave Maine and go to Colorado, and let's talk about Misery. This was directed by Rob Reiner and it starred James Caan and Kathy Bates. And this is of course based off the book written by Stephen King. It tells the story of a famous author named Paul Sheldon, played by Caan, who is most known for his book of romance novels based off a character named Misery. However, he gets in a car wreck in a snowstorm and is rescued by Annie Wilkes, played by Kathy Bates. Wilkes just so happens to be Sheldon's #1 fan and has read all of his books multiple times. However, when she reads that he is planning on killing off Misery, she doesn't take it too well, and basically keeps him prisoner, including drugging him and breaking his legs in the sickest way possible, until he can write a new book. When Misery came out in 1992, it was in the middle of Rob Reiner's hot streak. He had directed This Is Spinal Tap, A Princess Bride, and Stand By Me, also based on Stephen King's work. So he was on fire. Just to add a special note to that, William Goldman, the man who wrote the screenplay for A Princess Bride, also wrote the screenplay for Misery. So rest in peace, William Goldman, because you were a genius. I think the best way I can describe Misery is an hour and 45-minute contained thriller, minus a couple scenes in New York, and it has some of the most palpable tension that I've ever seen in a movie, pretty much ever. Misery is just excellent. It's excellent. I don't know what took me so long to see this movie for the first time, but now that I have seen it, it's one of the best from Stephen King and one of the best from Rob Reiner. Firstly, let's talk about James Caan. This guy is a great actor. He was Sonny in The Godfather, and he was Buddy's dad in Elf. The guy has a lot of range, and he has to go through a lot of crap in this movie. But he does a great job with all of it. You would think that this character is roughly a version of Stephen King turned up to 11, but I read an interview with King saying, it's loosely based off of me, but, I'm an author, he's an author. If I'm compared to authors, then, we're just gonna go on forever. The fact that we're both authors is just a coincidence. But the reason why King wrote Misery was because he wrote a book, I think it was something involving a dragon, that was critically received negatively, and his fans didn't like it too much either. So there are definitely some subtle, King undertones throughout this. But Caan does an excellent job of communicating the emotion of that he's a nice guy. He doesn't want to kill off Misery out of spite. He just feels like he's taken the Misery train as far as it'll go, and he wants to write more different stuff. But because he has a fan base that only knows him for the Misery books, they don't take it too well. I'll talk about that in a second, but let's talk about Kathy Bates, because she's even better than Caan. Kathy Bates is the only actor to win any Oscar for anything related to Stephen King, and I can definitely see why. She has to communicate so much. She has to be both nice and kind of homely and terrifying with literally a snap of a finger. And she does it with spades. I'm going to go into a couple spoilers, but this movie was released in 1992, so I think the spoiler warning is kind of superfluous at this point. Basically, we learn that Annie Wilkes was a nurse, and she may or may not have killed babies. It's never insinuated whether she did it or not, but we do know through newspaper clippings that she is definitely a prime suspect. This is done so well because instead of someone sitting there like, oh, Annie Wilkes, you don't want to mess with her. You know why she left the medical profession. That never happens. This movie shows how Annie Wilkes is evil through show and tell. It's so refreshing. But the movie also does an excellent job of showing that she's not just some ditz. She's actually pretty smart. When Sheldon tries to pull a fast one by sneaking away some pills and eventually the knife, she picks up on that real quick. And yeah, we might as well transfer into the hobbling, because I'm sure if you've clicked on this review, you want to hear me talk about the hobbling, because, oh, God. Oh, the hobbling is brutal. It's done so creepily. You know, Sheldon is tied down to the bed, the Moonlight Sonata is playing overhead, and Annie is just like in the headspace of, and she puts the block in, she takes the sledgehammer like so, and then you see the foot turn like 90 degrees, and you're just like, oh no, oh that is so gross. There are a few times when I've watched a movie that I've wanted to throw up, and this was one of those times. I also really liked the sheriff in this movie. You don't see him too often, but when he's trying to find Sheldon and he's trying to figure out the case, that was quite intriguing as well. I really did want to see more of him, though I guess it would have taken away from Khan and Bates, so you gotta give and take, I guess. But I think Misery, in a weird way, kind of holds up better now than it may have even when it premiered. Because with internet culture being how it is, with, the people who are the ragers and the ones that are, that want things in an exact way, Annie Wilkes may be the very first internet troll. And I'm not calling her a troll personally, but her character is very much a troll. She doesn't want anything to change. She just wants everything to stay exactly how she is. She is obsessed with the past. She is a troll. And a violent one at that. Oh, God. This movie could easily be remade today, and it would still be as relevant. I'm going to give this movie an amazing grade. I think that there really is not a flaw to this movie. At least none that I could find. I mean, I guess you could maybe have shortened up the sheriff parts, but at the same time, I liked the character so much and I wanted to see more of him. But then again, that would have taken away from Conan Bates. So everything just kind of works. It all just works. The acting is on point. The cinematography is great. The screenplay is excellent. There are a ton of scary moments and a ton of gross out moments. Simply put, this is one of the best movies based off of Stephen King's work. But that's all for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for Wednesday, where I'll be reviewing The Shawshank Redemption. My name is Ryan Cam. I'll see you in the next one.